Sorry, I didn't hit the unmute button. Mistake number one. Welcome everybody. Good afternoon. I hope that this information that we're going to provide to you today is helpful during your process of converting over. As John said earlier this week, President Barron announced that we are going to be open for fall semester, which we were all eagerly awaiting that official announcement. And now we are in preparations to prepare campus and our programs for all of you to come to campus and participate, obviously in a safe manner, and taking all the precautions that we need to run our programs. With that, we'll be changing some things up a little bit, making adjustments to how we run our home events and how we travel and how we compete, all for the safety of all those participating. And with that, we will need a lot of cooperation from all of our administration, from our coaches, and from our student athletes. But we are excited. Now there is a lot to do between now and August 24th. But we look forward to getting to that point and seeing you all on campus. Campus has been a very lonely place without our student athletes and our students, and we look forward to having you there back on campus. So a little bit about what we're going to cover today and try to cover for you is a little bit about Penn State Altoona Athletics and what it means to participate as a student athlete at the Division III level and at Penn State Altoona. A little bit about compliance and what you need to know, and what your responsibilities are and what the department's responsibilities are for you. What do I need to know to prepare to come to campus? And then spend some time on the athletic training, sports medicine, physicals, and that type of information that you need to have done before you come to campus, especially if you're a fall student athlete or at some point in time as we move through, as you prepare to start your competition season. I would say with all the questions that we will probably get, along with opening and with what participation is going to look like, right now we're in that planning stage. We won't have a lot of details. We are planning to be able to communicate out to you as we move through July and into August and preparing for. But we will try to answer all the questions that we possibly can for you today. Okay. So what's it mean to be a student athlete at Penn State Altoona? First, being an athlete and participating in intercollegiate athletics is a privilege at Penn State. There are so few students that come out of high school that were participating in scholastic sports that get the opportunity to be a collegiate athlete. I'm sure if you think about your teams that you have left or competed with over the last couple years, and then think of the numbers of students that have gone on to be collegiate athletes, it is a much smaller number. And you have a great opportunity here in which to take advantage of. But with that privilege of being a student athlete comes a lot of responsibilities. And part of that is how you represent who you are, how you represent Penn State Altoona, how you represent the Department of Intercollegiate Athletics, how you represent your respective team, and most importantly, how you represent yourself in participating and traveling and representing your team and the program and yourself around campus. For many of you, this might be one of the first opportunities in which you are starting a clean slate, in which you really do get a chance to almost reinvent yourself. You get a chance to explore new opportunities. You get a chance to explore new opportunities of leadership, maybe new academic areas. And it's a great opportunity in which to start to develop that person that you will be when you leave Penn State and go into the professional world. That time starts from the minute you step on campus and become a collegiate student and a student athlete. And it's a great opportunity to take advantage of. You're shaping yourself for the rest of your life. Now that can sound like a heavy lift coming on and coming out of high school. Let me say that probably most of you are more prepared than any students coming in to higher ed right now, because you have dealt with what you've gone through over the last couple months. You've learned how to pivot, and you've learned how to communicate in different ways. And that is, while it may not have seemed so great during the time, I think you'll be able to at some point look back and realize that you've learned a lot about yourself and about just moving forward and moving into the rest of your life from the experiences that you've just had. So it's an exciting time as well. Okay, could we move forward, please? So Penn State Altoona Athletics has a mission statement and some core values. And you see on the screen, you will see that on our website. You'll see it posted around our athletic facility, and you'll see it in most of our athletic programs, game programs, and publications that we put out. This is sort of our guiding principles. This is what, when we make decisions within the athletic department, that we sort of always compare those options that we have towards this mission statement and values. We use, as the Division III philosophy also states, is we use intercollegiate athletics as a partner with the academic side in which to help you develop and grow as a person, with us, as an athlete, and as a community member. We want to make sure that you understand that you are here to be a student first, that your academics take priority, because it is those academics and that success that you have that continues you to be able to participate in intercollegiate athletics. But you just don't learn in the classroom. You learn a lot about yourself, about your leadership styles, about communication, about teamwork, all through your participation in intercollegiate athletics. So it really is a partnership that we strive to have here. Also, the personal welfare of our student athletes, our coaches and our staff, is one of our highest priorities. We always and currently, with the landscape that we have now, are working our hardest to make sure that all of issues of health and wellness are taken care of. And you can see a number of our other values there: honesty, respect, and integrity when you're dealing with yourself, when you're dealing with outside entities. We want to compete, we want to win, we want to beat our opponents, but we also want to respect them and respect all those that we come in contact with as we're representing Penn State Altoona. And we really need, probably more this year than ever before, a sense of teamwork that needs to prevail, because we're going to, it's going to be a different world, and we need to work together to make it happen and ensure that our participation continues. Okay. So what are your responsibilities as a student athlete? It really comes down to, you need to give your best effort. You need to give your best effort in class, in practice, in competition, and in the community, and especially to your teammates. If you are giving your best, that's all we can ask. And we're sure that good things will come out of that type of situation. But that's also our responsibility to you, that we give our best to make sure that you are able to give your best in class and in practice and in competition. Will everything always work out the way we want them to? No, that's life. But we're going to all, in cooperation together, give our best and put out the best teams, the best competition, and eventually, all of you, the best graduates that we, Penn State Altoona, can have that represent us. Also, key to all of your participation is to communicate with your coaches, with your teammates, your academic advisors, highly important, and your family. Occasionally we'll get a call every once in a while or an email. A coach will get contacted from a parent. Haven't heard from someone in a while. Was just wondering if you could get them to check in. You know, you've spent a lot of time at home with your family over the last couple months. When you get here, you're going to have a lot of new experiences and meet a lot of new people, but you never want to forget home base and your family and your friends, and keeping communication with them. Communications with your coaches and with teammates, you need to have a good, clear line of communications. Your coaches are here for you. The administration is here for you. You need to feel comfortable with coming and talking to us, expressing ideas, concerns that you may have, and having some of those conversations. Not every conversation will be comfortable. Maybe it's about playing time or position or events or whatever it may be. But it's time that you are able to sit down and have those conversations and respect what you hear and have your ideas and your concerns respected back. And we expect that from all of our staff and coaches and all of our student athletes, whether it be student athlete to student athlete ideas and conversations, or between the administration, the coaches, and the staff. Like I said, we will all make mistakes at some point in time. We'll all have struggles. You might have a struggle in a class. You might have a time period where you're just struggling in your sport to stay focused. Use those communication skills that you've learned and that you will be learning to talk those out and be a part of this community that wants to support you and succeed with you. I found a quote that I think is very important and very precise to this moment, and it's from Nelson Mandela. He said, "I never lose. I either win or I learn." And if you take that into consideration and you use that sort of guiding principle as well, I think you'll find that you'll have a lot of success with us. Go ahead. So a little bit about compliance. My job is also to make sure that our programs run in a compliant way with all the rules of Penn State University, eligibility rules, of our home conference, the Allegheny Mountain Collegiate Conference, and of our national affiliation with the National Collegiate Athletic Association, NCAA, and specifically Division III. To that point, it's important that you understand the rules of compliance. At the beginning of each competition season, we will have a compliance meeting, and there's a number of pieces of documents that you'll read over and sign. I will explain much of those documents to you, but there is also a responsibility for you to understand those rules. And if you don't understand a particular rule or policy, that you ask and make sure that you understand them. Compliance is a team effort. It is a team effort of the administration, myself, our staff, our faculty athletics representative, our coaches, and our student athletes to make sure that we are running our programs with integrity and within the compliance that we need to to abide by for our participation. One last little thought is it's always better to ask before you act. So if there's something that you want to do, something that you want to participate in that may have an outside affiliation with a sport, come and check with us. Talk with us about any of those. That will help us make sure that we follow those rules and are compliant. If you could go ahead. Things that you need to maintain your status as a student athlete. So first and foremost, at all times, you must have 12 or more credits. The NCAA says that you must maintain a full-time load of classes as to what your institution says is a full-time load. And at Penn State, it is 12 or more credits to be a full-time student. If at any point in time you might be struggling with a class or need to, for some reason or another, drop a class, please come and talk to us, talk to your coach, come and talk to me, and we will make sure that whatever you need to do to adjust your schedule may not interfere with your progress as far as eligibility. Or if it does, and you need to step away, that we properly take care of that to support you and make sure that we get you back on track. So 12 or more credits at all times. Working towards a 4-year degree program. There are very few of them, but there are some programs at Penn State Altoona that are called associate degrees, and those you're not eligible in which to participate with intercollegiate athletics if you're in those programs. So we always have to be working towards a 4-year degree program. Again, if you have questions about that, we check your eligibility so we know what program you're in. But if you ever are considering a change, know that you need to be working towards that. Along with those along with the 12 credits to maintain full-time status, we also expect that you successfully complete at least 12 credits each semester to keep your athletic eligibility going on. Most students are far above that 12 credits completed each semester, but that is a requirement to maintain your athletics participation. Maintaining a GPA. For the most part, it is a 2.0 that you must maintain. Again, our student athletes are far above a 2.0. That's a minimum standard in which to participate, but it is there that we have to be always mindful of. And you need to stay clear of banned substances. The NCAA has a list of banned substances that are sort of that can be workout supplements and can be other type of nutritional supplements and drugs, and obviously illegal street drugs. Something that's very important is there's a lot of people that will use pre-workout or recovery drinks. What is really important is to go to the NCAA website under drugfreesport.com, and if you are using any type of workout supplements, you can put that the name of that product into the website, and it'll give you an idea if it is a substance that is clear of any type of NCAA banned substances. So that's something. And if you have struggles with that, when you get to campus, our athletic training and medical staff can help you out with that. We do it. I don't. They help student athletes learn about these substances on a case-by-case basis. But so those rules are in place for the health and wellness of student athletes and also for competitive fairness. And then again, I'll mention it, mentioned a couple times before, but to act with integrity with the department and the team in mind. If something doesn't feel right, if something may be out of whack and you think maybe I'm having a problem with something, come and talk to us. We can always, you know, if we can get in front of a situation that obviously will have less of an impact on any type of eligibility issues. We do it all the time. That's what we're here for. We know that, again, individuals make mistakes on maybe dropping a class and not intending to. Come and talk to us, do things like that, and that obviously will help us maintain your athletics participation without any bumps in the road. Go ahead. So some first year academic issues. We know that some of you out there may have already scheduled. Some of you may be in the process, and some of you have some future scheduling dates. Make sure coaches should have your practice times that they can get out to you. I think many of them already sent our sheet out. Do your best to schedule your classes around your team's practice time. Now, let me be clear. Almost every student athlete that we have at some point in time will need a class for their academic progress that will infringe on practice time a little bit, whether it's coming a little late or needing to leave and go to class early. It doesn't happen a lot, but it will happen. And we remember and we understand that you are here for your academic progress and for your academic program. And there are certain major required courses that once in a while will have a little bit of an impact. We do everything that we can to minimize that, but it may happen, and that's okay. We will work with you. Your coach will work with you, and we will support and make that work together. Once you are on a team and official, there will be a kinesiology 88 class that you will schedule for. All Penn State student athletes receive credit one time and for one sport for their participation in intercollegiate athletics. And we will take care of registering for you for that on the proper time and in the proper semester. It always is, the credit is given in the semester in which your sport concludes its regular season of participation. And Coach McGrill, our basketball coach, who also takes care of a lot of our student athlete services, will work with your coach and will get you registered for that in the proper semester. And it is 2 credits for that. And then there's also this year, for the first time in many years, Penn State Altoona students are required to take a first-year seminar. We have been working with our faculty athletics representative, Dr. Victor Brunston, out of the math department, to offer a couple sections of PSU 3, which is the freshman seminar for student athletes. And we hope that that'll help with your transition. Now, I will say that there are a couple majors that have specific freshman seminar courses required for their progress. We understand that, and we would expect that if you are in one of those majors and your academic advisor will let you know if that's the case, and we'll expect you to take that particular course. All Penn State PSU 03 courses have the same curriculum. It's just some of the topics in which they apply that curriculum are specialized, like our student athlete version. But some of them, like I said, have a specific, some majors have a specific course that you need to take. So that will take priority in that case. So I hope that this information helped you out a little bit with some of the areas that you are preparing to come into with this fall. And we'll hopefully answer some of your questions here at the end of the program. And up next, I think we have some videos of student athletes answering some questions that we thought might be of interest to you. So we'll take a chance and hear some from some of our current student athletes.
Hi, my name is Nate Gillen, and I play basketball at Penn State Altoona. I'm going to be a senior for this upcoming school year.
Welcome, incoming student athletes. I hope you are excited to start your journey at Penn State Altoona. My name is Caitlin Howe, and I am a junior studying veterinary and biomedical sciences, and I'm on the swim team.
Welcome, incoming freshmen. My name is Jimmy Gillespie. I play golf and tennis here at Penn State Altoona, and they asked me to answer a couple questions for you as you go through your new student orientation.
Hi, my name is Allie Givler, and this past year I was captain of the women's varsity bowling team. This year in the fall, I will be a junior nursing major with a minor in deafness and hearing studies.
For me, it's about time management. I like to get things done before practice or before we have a road game.
I think that the thing that you just have to try at, you have to plan out a schedule, make to-do lists, do whatever organization, pattern that works for you. Your athletic calendar is always set, so you'll know that your academic calendar is set, but the outside time of schoolwork and studying is something you have to set yourself. And for me, I just use the reminders out on my phone. After dog practice in the fall, 8 o'clock, I usually got back and started doing schoolwork. I knew I had to. So I know it's hard, but it's just something you have to learn and do.
For me, having a planner has helped me a lot when it comes to balancing my academics and my sport. Being able to write out what my day looks like and following a specific schedule has really helped me manage my time when it comes to studying, going to tutoring, and swimming. As I am scheduling classes for each semester, I try and schedule them before our practice times. However, this doesn't always work out, and so when it does not work out, I make sure to let my coach know, and then we create a schedule based off of when I get done with classes for the day. Having good communication with your coach, academic advisor, and professors is so important when it comes to balancing your time playing your sport and your academics.
So what I like to do to start off each year is take a calendar or my agenda, and I will write down all of my tournaments and then all of my exams as well. So that way I can plan to think, okay, well this week may be a little harder. I have a tournament and I have 2 exams. So that way I can plan ahead to be able to prioritize my work and figure out what I need to get done beforehand and not cram the day before. Also talk to your coach too. They're very understanding as we are student athletes. So student comes first and then athlete. So make sure you keep that in mind as well. We're here for our degrees first and foremost. So keep that in the forefront of all your planning you do.
So this past spring semester, I was hired as a resident assistant where I plan events for my hall and create a welcoming environment for my residents. I currently am the vice president of the Student Athlete Advisory Committee, and I have also been a part of the Campus Activities Board and Orientation Leaders. I also go to almost every event that campus has to offer. All were and are really fun to be a part of. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me.
I'll be president of SAC, which is the Student Athlete Advisory Committee. So all sports teams will have 1 or 2 representatives that are part of this organization, and we help to plan volunteer events for all student athletes, such as with the Special Olympics, different volunteer orgs in the local Altoona area, and many different other benefit games.
For me, I'm in a club called Student Athlete Advisory Committee, and we go out in the community once or twice a month to help out, and it's always nice to give back to the community because they support you in your sport.
I wanted to get involved freshman year, so it also helped me get to know people in the community. I have a lot of connections now because of that. So my high school, my golf team wasn't very competitive with our league, and right when I got to Altoona, we were right in the mix, 1, 2, 3. Every year I've been there, we've been 1, 2, or 3, so it's been a nice competition of just competing against other schools that are similar ability that you are. And for tennis, it was really the same. The ability levels, it's higher than high school.
Division III is much more competitive, so it makes you work on your game a lot more.
It's a great step up. We have a lot of great competition in the AMCC. It's a very fair playing field, and a lot of people love it a lot. So we do have great competitors, and it's always very fair competition.
It was really hard to get back into the routine of swimming for 2 hours every day and to even commit to the sport itself. There were many other factors that created this challenge for me, but I overcame it by realizing how important the sport really is to me. It has helped me keep focused and has driven me to want to do better. Another thing that helped me overcome this challenge was the support I got from my coach and my teammates. They never gave up on me at all, even at my lowest times during the semester. Academically, my first semester freshman year was not the best. I didn't realize how tough and how much time you would have to put into studying the material for your courses. It was hard to focus on academics because I was learning how to juggle being in ROTC, swimming, and spending time with friends. I also struggled with not knowing what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So I was between many different majors for about 3 semesters. I overcame these challenges by learning how to manage my time better and what my focus should be on. Once I really found out what made me happy and what I wanted to commit my time to, things got a lot easier and a lot less stressful for me. I am super excited for all of you to start your journey here at Penn State Altoona. And again, please reach out to me with any questions you may have.
And for me, it was stress. I know I had a lot of papers and projects due the same day or the same week. So how to overcome that was by doing a little bit each night so it wasn't crammed at the end. And anybody considering to continue their athletic and academic career at Penn State Altoona, I would strongly encourage you to do so.
My biggest challenge so far at Penn State Altoona, I would say, is academics. Nursing is a very hard major, so along with many others as well. So a lot of my classes have started kicking my butt. So being able to keep on top of that and to know when to get help and where to get help is very important. We do have the LRC on campus, which is the Learning Resource Center. So there are free tutors in there. So if you need help with anything at all, please feel free to stop in there to get math tutoring, which I got. I hate math, so knowing that I could get help with math whenever I needed it to was very helpful. So making sure that you know when you're struggling and how to get help that way as well. So I wish you all the best of luck this year in the fall, and I hope to see you guys in fall 2020.
I'd like to thank Connor Gilbert for the video and our student athletes. So hopefully that gave you a little bit of insight to the incoming class of what it is like to be a Penn State Altoona student athlete from the athlete perspective. At this time, I wanted to introduce George Mulligan, who is our athletic trainer, and he's going to go over some of the Penn State Altoona sports medicine and physicals with you at this time. George?
Hey, thanks, Sean. Hey, welcome everybody. Looking forward to seeing everybody back on campus here at the end of August. Again, I'm George. I'm one of the athletic trainers here on campus, and I'll be doing the sports medicine part of the orientation. So some of the things we're going to touch on today is going to be health record privacy, training room policies, and some banned substances, which Brent already kind of touched on. And then probably what everybody's most interested in is the required paperwork to be a Penn State Altoona athlete. Yeah, next slide. So HIPAA is the Health Information Portability and Accountability Act. That's what safeguards your personal healthcare information. So if you are an athlete that is 18 years of age or older, for us to talk to anybody but you regarding your healthcare information, you have to sign a release form that we have. And that release form is effective for all 4 years that you're here. You can change it at any time to add people or delete people from that form. Some of our policies, probably the biggest one that we have here in the training room, be on time for your appointments. If you're more than 15 minutes late, we're going to ask you to reschedule, and that's just to keep with the flow of things. We're pretty hectic, especially in the fall with physicals and everything. And now in the post-COVID world and all of the safeguards that we are implementing, that's going to make things a little bit more hectic, but we're really working hard to keep it as smooth and seamless as possible. Any injuries, regardless of how minor they might seem, have a funny way of becoming a big headache 2 or 3 weeks down the road. So no matter how minor they appear, let us know sooner rather than later so we can attend to it and keep it something that's small and manageable. Be respectful and courteous at all times to the staff and other athletes and visiting athletes, because we also treat the visiting teams when they come here for competition. When you're in the athletic training room, we don't tolerate foul language or any kind of inappropriate behavior, bullying, that kind of stuff. We have a zero tolerance policy in the athletic training room. And any and all changes to your paperwork or your physical, any information that you put on your sports medicine packet or on your physical, if it changes, we need to know. If you get a change from a physician for your prescriptions, if they increase a dosage, decrease, stop a med, you need to let us know. And if you are routinely followed by a physician for any condition, every time you go see them, just a quick note that says, hey, so-and-so athlete is cleared to continue participating in whatever sport that you may be participating in. Next slide. So varsity students will be taped by members of the athletic training or sports medicine staff only. You're not taping yourself, your friends aren't taping you, family members aren't taping you. And there are some criteria. We don't tape anybody and everybody. If an athlete suffers an injury as part of sports participation, whether it's a competition or a practice, that's cool. If they have a documented injury or a long-term issue like an ankle, but we need documentation from the healthcare professional, whether it's a doctor, a PA, a physical therapist that's been treating you for that situation, and that documentation must be accompanied with your sports med pack and your physical. On game days, we're here roughly 2 hours before the competition, though that time is not a treatment or evaluation day. So if you sprained your ankle 2 weeks ago in practice, that's not the time to get it evaluated, because like I said, we are treating our athletes and the visiting athletes at that time as well. And we don't just tape people on game day. Like I said, if we're taping you, you have a sustained injury, you have a legit chronic medical condition going on, and that requires that you're doing rehab with us also 2 to 3 times a week if we're going to tape you on game day. So we don't just tape for game day and that's it. Only our sports med staff treats athletes. So with all due respect to everybody, you know, their professions and their backgrounds, whether they are physicians or nurses or physical therapists, EMTs, or fellow athletic trainers, if an athlete goes down on the field or on the court when they're here at Penn State Altoona, our athletic trainers will handle that situation. Okay, it's because of the licensing issues, insurance and liability issues that we work under, that we're the ones who are going to go out there and handle that situation. We only treat in-season varsity athletes. So for example, if you are a soccer athlete and it's springtime and you're working out in the weight room and you drop a dumbbell on your foot, we don't treat those. We would refer you to our Student Health and Wellness Center, local Med Express, or UPMC Altoona, which is the local hospital. Or for any injury, let's say if it happens, we've had some students in the past that were involved in motor vehicle accidents. Thankfully, they were not seriously injured, but needed a little more in-depth follow-up and evaluation. So they were referred out to the appropriate providers. Next slide. So as Brent touched on, banned substances by the NCAA, there is the NCAA website. We also have a list of substances, and that's the address and the link on the screen there, of substances that are banned. It is your responsibility to check and verify what you're taking before you take it. And if you have any questions, contact one of us in the sports medicine department down here in the athletic training room, and we can help guide you or help research for you a little bit and see what you're taking before you're taking it. And that's prescription meds, as well as over-the-counter meds and any kind of supplements from the health food store, GNC, any of that stuff. Verify it, double check it before you take it. Go ahead, next slide. Okay, so paperwork, this is probably what most folks are interested in. Any and all paperwork you could submit to us via the US mail or fax, and I can show you, once we're done here, we'll go live screen so I can show you on our website where our information is. Physical packets and sports med packets, please use pen. These are legal documents, and they require student athletes and or parent guardian signatures. If they are signed in pencil, they are not valid because somebody, or filled out in pencil for that matter, because anybody can come behind you and change the information that you put down, okay? Please write legibly. If we cannot understand your physical, or we cannot understand what you were written, or you forget to check something, or it's, like I said, not legible, we can't process it and you won't be cleared. Be honest with any and all of your answers as regards to injuries, medications, or supplements that you may be taking, any medical conditions that you might have. Please put accurate contact information. If we need to get a hold of you, if something isn't clear or we need to clarify something and there is no phone number, or your voicemail box is full and we can't leave you a message and you're hard to get a hold of, like I said, you won't be cleared and it delays the processing time of your paperwork. Make sure your health insurance information is up to date and that you supply a copy of the card. That holds up a lot of people and that's real easy to take care of. You can come in here, we can make a copy of it, attach it to your stuff, done. It takes about a minute or two. Parent or guardian's employment information, that has to be up to date because if that changes, then health insurance coverages may change. So we, again, need to be aware of that. And your student ID number. Student ID number is how we track your information once we put it into our database, and it's tougher to track it without your student ID number. As far as required lab tests, there's only really one that we require, and that's for sickle cell trait. A lot of student athletes have that already on file due to lab work that they had done in junior high or high school. So check with your healthcare provider, see if it's in your records, and then just make sure we get a copy of it with your physical and you're good to go. If it is not, it's an easy lab to have drawn. It's routine. It takes about a week or so. So factor that in when you are submitting your paperwork, because paperwork, if it's due on the 10th and it comes in on the 9th, if there are some extenuating circumstances or we need a little bit more information, you're not gonna be allowed to participate until we get you cleared. And we don't grant waivers for any kind of sickle cell test results. We need to know one way or the other. It's not disqualifying, we just need to know if it's positive or negative. Next slide, please. And then we also do baseline concussion testing, or IMPACT, which is what most people are familiar with. It's the computer-based testing where you're matching colors and shapes and numbers and sequences of numbers. The new thing that was added this year is the BEST testing, which is an assessment of your balance. And we do both of these to establish a baseline. So if you were to sustain an injury, we can compare your current symptoms against the baseline and make decisions accordingly. For the most part, international students, all of the guidelines are the same, with the exception is that you must have legal U.S. insurance to participate in sports here at Penn State Altoona. We cannot grant waivers for international students for insurance. For more detailed information in that area, Ms. Candice Muzak, or she says you can refer to her as Ms. Candy. I have her phone number and email listed there, and I can also show you some other resources in regards to international students once we go live screen. And with that, I believe that is it for my portion. I think we are up to questions now. Yes. John, I believe. Yep, there he is.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself.
Yeah.
At this time, if there's any questions that you may have, we have one coming in right now. So George, were you going to share? We have someone asking where you can find the physical packet at.
Yeah, sure. So if we can kick it over so I can go and share my screen, then I can surely do that. Let's see. Okay, so let me see if I can share screen now. I'm still not able to share screen. Okay.
You have access yet, George?
Let me double check here again. No, it's still saying it's disabled.
Okay, let me double check on mine.
Maybe Brad or John, you could put this.
Yeah, if possible, if they can pull it up. If we go to the PS Altoona Lions, the sports homepage, and then I can kind of, if you share your screen, and then I can kind of walk you through there. Let me see here again if I can share it. Yeah, no, I'm still not in.
Okay.
Bear with us, everybody. Okay, so this is our athletics home screen. So you would come over to where it says Inside Athletics. And then you get the drop-down menu. We're going to go right there to Athletic Training and Physicals and go ahead and click on that. So what we see here is posted is all of the deadlines for the various teams and when their deadlines are due for their physicals. And if we continue scrolling down, you'll see some of the policies that I talk about. And if you want to read them in more detail, feel free to do so. And then right where you see required paperwork for student athletes, you see freshmen, newcomers, and transfers. You would click on that. And there you go. So all of those bold blue lettered print will give you PDF files for the sports med packet, the physical exam form. And if you are not an international student, if you're a US resident, affidavits of no insurance, if that is applicable. And then if you scroll down a little bit, just a little bit further, is our fax number and our address if you are mailing or faxing the information there to us. The only difference, if we want to go back just one screen for the internet, if we have any international students out there. So you would click for international students. And again, you see it's the same thing for sports medicine, physical exam, and then international insurance standards. It gives a little bit more detail. And if we scroll down just a little bit more, the resources, we have Miss Candy there, Miss Karen Klein, and then Mr. Eric Ween for resources for the international students if you have more in-depth questions regarding insurance or any of those issues.
And I'm going to share that link.
Yeah.
in the chat with everyone.
And that'll be probably, yeah, that's more direct than I'll take them right to where they need to go.
All right, let's see. Other questions that we have here. When is impact in bus testing?
So impact and best testing, once we get here on campus, either myself or Jess, our head athletic trainer, she will put the word out. We schedule you as a group by team, and then we get everybody in, and there's a video that we watch. And we're still coming up with the schedule because the best testing is something that has been added along with everything, not related to COVID. That has nothing to do with it, but that's just another thing that we added this year that we're working out the details. So stand by, more to come on that.
Any other questions, either in regards to compliance or in regards to physicals or in general?
I will say that we are planning in probably late July to offer up a Zoom workshop. So as you're progressing through your medical information, we're going to have an open workshop that you'll be able to link on to Zoom, and we'll get that out to all of our incoming student athletes and maybe even some returners. And we'll be on a Zoom meeting that we can try to answer all the questions that you have and work through any very specific issues that you may have individually, so that all that paperwork can be completed and start practice on time. So we are planning that. We haven't set a date for it as of yet. But we'll get that word out to everybody. And if you have questions on your particular case, you'll be able to get in and ask questions and work through that with, in July, it'll be Jess.
If we do not have any other questions, that I do not see any right now in the Q&A, there is a link in the chat for those links for specific teams. The coaches are available this afternoon. If your coach is not part of the link there, I'm sure that they've had contact with you throughout the course of this, and we'll be setting up either a link and a call, or we'll continue to be in contact with you. If you do have any other individual questions for either George or Brent, they will be on here for a couple minutes. But if not, the links for the specific teams are listed in the chat. We want to thank everyone for attending the session. Again, I echo what Brent said. We all look forward to having you guys on campus in the fall, meeting everyone when you guys come back inside the complex and watching your competition and you guys compete as student athletes at Penn State Altoona. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, the panelists. We appreciate the time, and we look forward to meeting everyone.
Just say I want to thank Connor, John, Brad, and Jonathan for putting this together.